When you buy somebody's half-finished project, there's always things you know you're going to have to deal with and things you're going to have to fix. There are things that you know still need to be built. The part that always gets you is the stuff you don't know about yet. The problems you haven't discovered, things that you might not have thought about. Those are what we like to call unknown unknowns. So before I even think about trying to start these things, I got to figure out what's actually here. So I've got a lot of known unknowns, like I said in the intro. Right now it's just about figuring out the unknown unknowns. I mean, you can't start a project until you really know where you're at. I know that the motor and the transmission are in this thing, but that is about it. We're going to have to do some exploration today, and we're going to try to figure out what it is we know and what it is we don't. So I haven't done a lot of work on Beetles before. When I do Volkswagens, it's often buses. So I'm not super familiar with how the Beetle's wiring works. I know most of it ends up underneath the back seat. It looks like it's mostly still here. I'm going to have to find a battery for it, obviously, but I'm going to have to graft the Subaru wiring together with the Volkswagen wiring so that we know kind of what we got. I got something loose there. Looks like that just might be a ground. Let's see. I know that basically the thing I was told this needs the most for the wiring is the final hookup of the ECU wiring. Now, because this uses a Vanagon wiring harness, Vanagon conversion wiring harness, it's basically all labeled. So this is going to be one of the big things I've got to sort out to get the electrical working in this. I also have a whole bundle here that is labeled emissions, AC, and cruise, which means I actually probably don't need those. I'm not required to follow emissions. Don't have cruise control. Definitely don't have AC. So I'm probably good there. Let's see what else we got. So I got something here that's a little concerning to me. That big piece of metal, this one right here, is part of the original body. It appears that it might be slicing into my turbo drain pipe. In fact, it may have already cut it. One thing that concerns me a little bit about this install is it's really close to the body. Now these are just slightly larger than a Volkswagen engine, but it means there's not a lot of room there, so I may have to do a little extra cutting. Another big concern that I'm going to have to deal with is this thing is obviously a fuel-injected motor. The Beetle would not have been fuel-injected in 1970, and I don't know how the tank has been handled. A fuel injection system will need a return line that the original system would not have had. I have, coming out of the Beetle tunnel, a pair of what appear to be fuel lines that I'm going to have to go to the other end and find the tank and see how they're plumbed in. Oh, that's a little bit loose. I'll have to adjust that. It latches though. So the tank on a Beetle is up front. Got all my underdash wiring. Let's pull this carpeting out of the way. Give me just a sec. Okay, so I got the carpeting out of the way. That's a little bit interesting. That is the fill hose for the pipe. It's just some clear plastic tube, which should not have been stock. I don't even know if that's fuel safe. We're gonna have to check that out. Okay, after tracing the fuel system, it looks like I do have intake and return, or pardon me, send and return off the fuel tank. And they're kind of tangled up, but they are there. So I got to get those back to the engine and get the fuel system plumbed in before any of this is going to run. I have in a box a set of the plugs for the fuel rail on the engine, so I got to figure that out. Also realizing I don't have any indication that there's a fuel pump in this car. Gonna need one of those before we get it running, so I'm gonna have to solve that one too. So that's weird. This tube right here looks like the end of the hose for a CPAP machine. I'm not entirely sure where it's going. It looks like maybe it's a fuel tank vent. That I'm not sure. Well, actually, looks like maybe it goes on the end of the vent box there. That's definitely going to need some investigation. I don't even know why that's in there. The big thing I'm going to have to look at is the transmission. Originally, the Beetle would have had a cable-operated clutch. Looks like somebody has converted it to hydraulic, which is good. But I got some weird spray foam, maybe? Yeah, it looks like spray foam on an aftermarket gas pedal. It feels awful light. I don't know if it's actuating anything. Let's see if I can look back at the clutch. So looking at the clutch actuator, which it's nice not having floorboards, I can see it. The clutch is not moving when I'm pushing the pedal. Okay, so another fun piece about the transmission. The shifter doesn't appear to be attached. Let's go back and take a look at where it comes out the other end. Yeah, it's definitely not attached back here. It looks like it's got an adapter to go from the Subaru shifter here to the rod, but the shift rod itself, let's see if I can get that to move, yeah, is not actually attached to the shifter. So I'm probably going to have to fabricate something for that. They don't line up, they're different sizes, so there's another challenge. So the JDM engines had a very cool twin scroll turbo setup that you did not get on the American models. One thing that's really hard with sticking them in an American vehicle is the downpipe. They're very hard to find. This one has a fully functional and nicely welded downpipe and exhaust system, so that's kind of nice. I am noticing though on top of my turbo I've got a block off plate for something that I'm not familiar with, so gonna have to figure out what that's blocking off. There's that block off plate again. That looks like the outlet from the turbo. I have no idea why you would block that off. And if you look back there, I don't know if you can see it, the inlet to the intercooler appears to just have a rag stuck into it, kind of proving that, yeah, that might be the turbo outlet. I don't know why that's there. There's no reason you would block that off, and a lot of reasons you don't want to block that off. You can do a lot of damage to the turbo with that blocked off, so I don't understand who made that or why. More to come, I guess.